Social media marketing agencies are around and they are trending like crazy right now. If you've been looking at ways to make money online, and I'm almost positive that you've heard of an agency or a service-based agency recently online on TikTok, Shorts, whatever it was. Well, in this video, I'm going to explain to you a few things that I've dealt with and what you could probably expect within your time starting one up, because you thought about doing it or you're doing it currently, it might go a long way to help you in the future, or, you never know. Anyway, so the first thing, and that's starting one up. When you first start one up, it can sound nice. You watch all these videos, you see these guys making $30K a month in the first 6 months. And I'm not saying that's not possible. For the most part, you really could go from 0 to 10K in like 6 to 8 months. You really could do that if you're brand new. I think if you focused on one skill, like copywriting or something like that, you probably could actually do that if you worked hard at it and also got a little bit lucky, because luck is a factor in this business. I kind of think of luck of opportunity being met with preparation, because it's kind of, they come in and boom, you're lucky, but it's not really luck. It's you are there at a good time. Having good skills when starting one up is super important. If you can go the next few months to learn a skill, like I said, copywriting or learning how to do Facebook ads or videography or things like that, where you can sell a skill and help them market or help them make more money from your skills, they will gladly pay lots of money. But getting those skills is a lot harder than people think it is, because they see these guys online who are brand new and they're making all this money, when in reality they started out doing things first beforehand, and they went into an agency model where they were already kind of skilled in that niche, but maybe not as an agency. So it kind of like, they're new to it, but not that new to it, if that makes sense. Now, my advice, you could go out right now, and what I would suggest, what I'm doing currently myself, is I'm trying to learn copywriting, and I'm trying to learn skills where I can actually use it to help people make more money in their businesses. And the best way to do that is just learn. Go online and learn. Watch YouTube videos. Don't buy courses. You don't need to buy a $1,000 course to learn copywriting, to learn agency building stuff. It could help. I will say it will help. But there's already free stuff online that you can learn everything from, for the most part, besides maybe some scripts. But even those things are not that good. And by the way, I got a video on how I got my first client with SMMA. So link to that video will be in the description, or just click up to top right screen, that little eye thing, you can click that, and that is the video. Do it after this video though. Don't do it now. Do it after the video. On to the second point. That's outreaching. Outreaching it's tough because it's a lot of outreach, DM, email over and over and over. And it can be a very time consuming job and a very tedious job. It's one of those things where you'll get way more no's than you would actually get replies or yes. Now, you could outsource this work and get someone else to do it for you, or you could go a smarter route. And what I would suggest is you make content with social media marketing agency in your niche. Eventually, the guys are going to come to you. Eventually, the clients will actually come to you and look for your work. Or even guys who are not even in that niche will ask you, hey, do you have any experience in this? Do you have any experience in starting an agency? You will get clients from making content. And in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. You don't need to spend hours and hours sending thousands of DMs a week, right? Now, you can do that, and I suggest you will have to do that at some point, probably. I would say like 50 a day is probably a very good number. And I was at one point doing 50 a day to 40 a day, which is nothing even that crazy, but it's enough where if the day ended, I could be like, you know what? I got outreach done. If I got no's, whatever. Now, eventually I got one yes, but that one yes came from like 300 or so of outreaches, which is honestly not that long, but 300 or so is quite long if you do like 10 a day. And now for the third point, which kind of falls behind the outreach model or the outreach point, and that's the actual service delivery itself. This ties into the first point where I was talking about your skills and your actual ways to make the money. They are here to pay you to make the money. They don't care about really who you are or I guess what you do. They just care that if you can make money, right? So again, if you're a copywriter and you say you send out like 5 emails a month, right, to their customers on their email list, and let's say you make $500 per purchase then you can make thousands of dollars from each email easily, and they will gladly pay you. But that's a lot easier said than done. And especially nowadays with AI and ChatGPT, it could be almost useless to get into. Which, by the way, it's not useless. Copywriting is going nowhere. ChatGPT is, yes, it's there to help, but AI will never be as good as human copywriting when it comes to an actual good copywriter. And you don't have to be that good to do it. You could copyright pretty well if you just learn it for next month or two. You could really get good at it to the point of selling it. My point still stands though. Service delivery is no joke. This is not including the contract, the results that you get your clients, the revenue, the ad structures, right? There's ad creatives you got to think about. You got to think about contracts. I think I just said that. There's so many things you have to worry about or think about when you're getting your first client. I do suggest you don't really need a contract. I know I've been saying this a lot, but especially for copywriting, you don't really need a contract for copywriting. You really don't. In a way, it's very little time-consuming work for you as a copywriter when it comes to actually doing work for a client. So you don't really have to go to court and do all those things if they ever screwed you over, which for the most part, they probably won't do that if they're an actual business willing to pay you and you get them results. They probably won't screw you over, right? Now, if in your offer you say, I will pay you back money guaranteed if I don't get you X results, and you don't get those results and they don't pay you, then that makes sense because it was in your offer. But if you say, okay, I get you X amount of results, and then you do that and they don't pay you still, well, that can be a really frustrating thing. But in my experience and in my opinion, that's still a lot of value that you got out of that, because you got results for someone and you can do that for the next person. And contracts, yes, help it a lot. You could honestly make a little one-pager contract if you wanted to, a fast little contract. There's templates out there. But again, that's a lot of work and a lot of, I guess, problems to deal with if they ever went down the route of actually scamming you or screwing you over, which it can happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. It could. But that's also another reality thing of SMMA, is that does happen, and contracts can help out with that, but they're also not going to be that safety, because there's guys that will still scam you with contract or not. So yeah. Now let's talk about the upsides of SMMA, because that was a lot of negative things about SMMA, but there's a lot of positives with it. Yes, you can go from 0 to 10K a month within a few months. That is possible. That's not an actual crazy number. It is insane. Okay, it's a crazy number to think about, but it's very, very doable, and people do it like literally weekly and daily. It's happening as we speak. At one point, you're not really being an agency. You're just being a freelancer selling marketing skills. And then you build it into an agency. You can do this work pretty much anywhere in the world, unless you're doing videography stuff where you have to go to someone's store or make videos for them. And by the way, I will answer any questions you guys have. Join my Discord, okay, or add me in Discord. I will answer any questions I can, even in the comments, I will. With the proper executions and the proper preparation and learning, and you're actually taking it serious, you'll find success in this. You're almost guaranteed to get your first client. Like, so many people will quit before they get their first client, and you will probably get your first client if you just stuck to it. If you stick to it for a little bit, you'll eventually probably get your first client, or you'll realize how hard it is going to be to get your first client, and maybe you might think about, like, okay, is this for me? I suggest if you get those thoughts, just go for it. Go for it, okay? It's not an easy gig, but it's also not the hardest gig in the world. It just depends on a lot of things. But that was the video. We'll see you guys next video. Goodbye. Goodbye.